my babies, and welcome back to another video. It's your girl Virgo Garden. If you don't know, now you know. Anything you need to know about little old me will be down below in the description box. You do not have to be a Virgo to watch this video. Alright, y'all, welcome back to another couch talk. I am so excited about this, like, for real. Y'all have no clue how much these couch talks and these Sunday and mimosas be helping me heal too. Like, oh my goodness, thank y'all so much for all the positive feedback. Try my best to get to y'all comments soon. All right, so you already know I do got to do a quick announcement though. On the website, we do have the summertime party, summer solstice wax melts available for the summer solstice coming up in June, so you can celebrate that and make your house smell good, you know. All right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get into this because I really don't want this to be too long. So we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of therapy. So as y'all know, I had a therapist, and I started seeing this therapist, like I told y'all in the last couch talk. I actually started seeing her in June 2019. It was like probably 2-3 weeks after that fight happened. So I just would like to put out there that everything in this particular video is my own personal views. It's my own opinion. This is not anything necessarily factual. Some things will be factual because I am going to read something off of the internet. So some things will be factual, but majority of this video is just my own personal opinions and my own personal views. Take what apply, let the rest fly. Okay, if it helps you, then that's great. If you have a different viewpoint, then that's great as well. But this is my life, my story. All right. So I do have notes because I had to take notes about this. Now, we couldn't just get up here and try to go off the top of the head. Now, I had to take notes about this to make sure I didn't miss anything. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the good part of therapy. And like I was saying, as y'all know, I did start seeing a therapist in June 2019. And things were going so great with her. Like, she was awesome. She was amazing. She had me fill out this form before I came to see her, which is great. Also, to the people who feel like you cannot afford therapy or you cannot afford to go see a therapist, your insurance should pay for that shit. Okay, just so you know, you might want to look into it or look into getting an insurance that will pay for it. I have Aetna. Aetna paid for my shit, and she said Aetna paid her very well. Now, at first, they actually did not want to pay her, and she said when she read my form, because she wants to know what she's getting into, and she's very thorough. And y'all, my first therapist was a Virgo. Like, she's a Virgo. So, like, and then her birthday was like a couple of days after mine. I want to say her birthday is like the 21st or the 22nd, one of them days. But so I vibe with her on that as well. And also, like I said, this is my personal opinions and stuff. This is not to hurt anyone's feelings or to offend anyone. But I have to be honest and I have to be transparent with y'all, okay? So, I wanted my first therapist to be a black woman. Because I wanted somebody who understood exactly, like, everything I was going through and stuff. Without me having to explain to them the struggle of being a black woman. It come with some shit, okay? Like, the reason why I really wanted to go to a black woman therapist, I needed somebody who understood my struggle. And also, I was able to find her online, because you can go online and look at, like, their profiles and stuff. And I was able to find her online. I was able to see what she specialized in. And she specialized in a lot of the things that I have traumas with. So I definitely was excited about finding her. I didn't think I was going to find a therapist that understood me. I'm like, ain't nobody going to understand me or want to deal with all this shit. And I did. I found someone. And she was great. So I'm going to run through the notes so y'all could kind of understand, you know, why I feel the way I feel, okay? Now, first thing was, she knew I was a special case, because like I said, my insurance didn't want to pay for that shit, but she fought for it, and they started paying her for it. And because when she read that form, she knew I needed help. Like, it was no way around it. She said, I couldn't just leave it like that. She said, I know you needed help. And she said she's never seen anyone have such an extensive description like me. I told her everything I needed help with, okay, honey? I laid everything out there bare my whole life. And also that she's never seen someone with, like, as many traumas as I have. and as descriptive as I was. So it's like she naturally felt for me. So let's go ahead and get into these notes about the good things about therapy. All right. So the first 4 we're going to talk about is I didn't feel judged. It was somewhere I could vent. I felt relieved after the session and feeling understood and heard, because that was what was so great about going at first, was the fact that I had somewhere I could finally go and say, look, this is how I feel. And it's not someone who says, well, Nina, you know, you got an attitude problem, or Nina, you know, da-da-da, and someone who's actually trying to find out why. So it was a huge relief, and it was a huge weight off of my shoulders, being able to go somewhere once a week, because Tuesday was my day, honey. Every Tuesday, Nina was in therapy. Okay, Tuesday was my day, and I go and I sit down and I talk to her about my struggles and my battles. And she had a formula at first that we were supposed to stick to, and we ended up not sticking to it. And the formula was, and I actually did this. She told me to go home and write, like, break down my entire life of, like, different events that happened in my life. So I had to go through, like, childhood, when I was in school, middle school, high school, things that were going on at school, things that were going on at home, high school, after high school, college. Like, I had to break down different events that happened. They turned me into the person that was sitting in her chair every Tuesday. And I thought that was really smart. I'm like, okay, so you get to exactly walk through my entire, like, lifeline, basically. And we ended up getting off topic, which is where things started getting messy with the therapy sessions, is because I had to start venting about things I was going through in the present, not just the past. And another thing, well, I'll get into that when we talk about the bad part, but the point is this, y'all. I felt relieved being able to talk to this lady. And in the beginning, this is how she had to set up. We were supposed to go through the timeline of my life. All right. So also, I learned a lot about myself. I learned a lot about the people in my life, and I got to see it from another aspect. And then also introspection, which is the deeper understanding of your emotions. So I definitely got to see where some things that I thought were right, and this is how it should be, or I have the right to feel that, I didn't have the right to feel that, or that wasn't the way that it should be, or this wasn't supposed to happen that way. And she showed me that, and she was like, no, Miss Nina, because she always called me Miss Nina, and she was like, no, Miss Nina, that's not right. And then she would break down to me why. So that was helpful as well, because when you're in trauma, or when you have mental health issues, or when you're just going through a lot and you have a lot on you, all you can see is your point of view. You can't see sometimes the other person's, or from a bird's eye point of view. You can't see the entire picture sometimes. So that was extremely helpful. Also, she was able to show me different things about people in my life. Like, I might just think, oh, my mother is this way, or oh, my father is this way, or oh, my ex is this way. And that's just how they are. And she be like, no, it has to do more with their experiences. The same shit I be teaching y'all, she was throwing it back in my face every Tuesday. And I'm like, this is the same shit I tell my subscribers. And she be like, see? And I'm like, yeah, okay. So it was extremely helpful with that as well, helping me see some of the people who have hurt me so deeply, seeing that it's not necessarily that they were trying to hurt me, or in the beginning it wasn't necessarily they were trying to hurt me, but it's because of their experiences. That's why they are the way they are. And y'all know that. Let's see. In introspection, understanding my emotions better. Because when I say, y'all, introspection is such a big part of your healing. And you have to understand why you feel the way that you feel. That's like getting in the car to go to the store and you don't even know why you went to the store. You need to know why you went, or else it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy, it's a waste of resources. And that's not what we want. We want to actually be progressive with what we're doing, with the actions that we're taking. We actually want to have an aim. And matter of fact, in one of the other videos, I meant to tell y'all that. I think it was focus and discipline. Where is it? Yes, focus is the aim and discipline is the shoot. Okay, so key, because you need to know exactly what it is you're trying to heal, or why it is that you feel this way, or how it is that you even got there in the first place. So that was also very helpful. Now, I got to have conversations with people that probably would not have happened without a therapist. I got wisdom and tools needed to help me successfully navigate through life. And I got to see myself in a different light and started thinking more positive about myself. So let's talk about I got to have conversations with people that probably would not have happened without a therapist. Okay. So during when I was seeing my first therapist, my grandmother came, my mother came, and coronavirus happened. So me and my father had to do a video chat with her. Okay, so grandma was the first one that came. It went great. I was shocked. I'm like, this shit ain't gonna help with none of them. But it went great with grandma. Grandma understood it because my therapist was able to break it down in a way that grandma was able to understand. And my therapist didn't talk that much. She let my grandmother go first. She would ask my grandmother certain questions to understand where her viewpoint was. And then she let my grandmother go first. And then she let me go to be able to calmly explain or be able to clear up certain things that she may not have understood or things that may have been a misunderstanding. So I was allowed that, and that helped so much. We were able to have a conversation. Me and my grandmother communicate better. My grandmother understands my pain better. She actually tries to help with my traumas now. She tries not to hit certain triggers, and it was great. So I'm like, okay, well, damn, this went great with grandma. So, okay, let's tackle mama next, right? So where we messed up was we didn't give enough space in between. Mama was the week after grandma. And what we should have did was give at least 2 weeks in between, like each session with bringing people in. Because eventually I did want to work up to being able to bring my sister in, but yeah, that shit ain't gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's just not. Fairy tales. So that's where we messed up, not allowing enough space in between to decompress, to do the introspection, the reflections, and just have a deeper understanding overall of, okay, well, this is what happened, and letting my emotions process and stuff, because you have to have time for your thoughts to process and for your emotions to process between certain, not pillars, but certain points of your healing. I'm trying to look. Y'all know what I'm trying to say though. Like certain points of your healing. Like when you have a breakthrough or something, you have to be able to allow yourself that time to process shit, to feel and to think and to understand. Okay, this is where it was. This is where I was feeling, and this is where the goal is now. Now that this has happened, how do I feel now? You have to allow that time. So it wasn't enough time in between, and mama came the next week. So we didn't get to discuss how, talking to grandma made me feel. Because it went so great with grandma, I guess we thought it would go great with mama too. Wrong. Now, I'm going to save that part of the story. Let me make a note. I'm going to save that part of the story for the bad part. And also, I got to go to therapy with my father as well. Like I told y'all, I was over video chat with, during coronavirus. Well, the quarantine. But I'm going to tell y'all that story as well with the bad part of therapy. Because, yeah. So, okay, the other notes are, I got wisdom and tools I needed to help me successfully navigate through life. And I actually have some notes that I saved from therapy that I took. I'm just going to read a few of them. And some of them y'all heard me say. Like, my healing is not dependent on others, thank God. Your understanding is not a necessity to my peace. You must become detached from the idea of who someone is versus the reality. Allow people the experience in yourself to get to know them and for them to get to know you. And of course, y'all hear me say this one all the time. Trust issues have more to do with you not trusting yourself to set boundaries more than the other person. Y'all hear me say that shit all the time. I got that from her. So definitely you get tools and jewels of wisdom that you need to apply to life when you have a good therapist, okay? Because they're not all good, but they're not all bad. And I just need to make sure that is understood as well. And also, I got to see myself in a different light and started thinking more positive about myself because I got to emotionally and mentally process. This is what I've been through. This is how this shit made me feel. This is where I'm at in life. This is what I can do about it now. And this is where I want to get. And I had someone help navigate me through that. So that is definitely, y'all, all the positives that I could think of therapy and how effective that they are to anyone who's really looking for someone to talk to, all honesty, that is a licensed practitioner, counselor. I think that's what LPC stand for, something like that. But yeah, let me stop trying to talk about shit I don't know. I don't know nothing about no LPC and what it stand for real. But I do feel like therapy gets a bad rep, or people like, oh, I ain't going to no therapy, especially in the Black community. Oh my God, y'all look at therapy like this shit is taboo or something. Like, what the fuck? It actually is really helpful when you get the right one, and we really need to be going to therapy a lot more than what we're doing, folks. Okay, so I just really wanted to be able to shine a positive light on therapy before I put the bad one up there, so y'all can understand when you are ready for therapy and you're ready to actually hear someone else's different point of view. It's a great thing. So let's talk about the bad and the ugly, shall we? Yeah, let's talk about it. So, now some of this is going to kind of sound like contradictions. You're going to find out why. Let's talk about feeling judged and misunderstood. Sometimes feeling how you may feel towards a certain situation is overlooked and also brings out triggers. So now I'm going to tell y'all about when my father came. So me and my father, I didn't think he was going to agree to do therapy with me, and he did. Now the thing about my father is this, okay? No offense to anyone else that is, but he's a Libra. Okay, lying Libras. I just feel like if your zodiac sign starts with a L, you're a liar. The L stands for liar. That's just how I feel. Okay, my personal experiences. Now, he is someone who likes to put out to like the public, or put out an image that, oh, he's, you know, the greatest gift that God ever gave to the world, basically. Like, he's a wholesome man, and he has morals and values, and he's a great father, you know, and he's stable, and he's a great husband, and that's the image he tries to put out. I call it the Leave It to Beaver life. Because you're trying to make it seem like your life is perfect, and it's not. Like, you're a perfect, well put together family, and it's not. Okay, that's just not what it is. So, y'all know some of the stories of kind of how me and my father don't have a good relationship. I gave y'all bits and pieces. And basically, to sum it up, because I talked about this in a Sunday Mimosa, my father lied to my mother, and he said he was single, and he was actually living with the mother of his children. And they had 2 children at the point in time. And basically, they ended up dating and ended up in a relationship, ended up having sex. And I was born in 1990, and my father got married December 1989, and he did not tell my mother. My mother was already pregnant with me when he got married. He got married on Christmas. My mother was already pregnant with me. So, fast forward to the reason why he married the mother of his child, because she found out she was pregnant with their 3rd child. So I have a brother that's 5 months older than me. He was born April 1990, and I was born September 1990. So yeah, I got a brother 5 months older than me. And so that, of course, you know, messes with his perfect image that he's the greatest man ever. Women falling all over me, and this, that, and the third. I'm just that man, you know. HNIC. Ego issues, solar plexus. Now, the point of me and his therapy session was to work out the issues that we have, because he was a deadbeat, still is a deadbeat. And in order to have therapy to be effective, both parties need to be honest. I was the only one willing to do that. And I had a feeling that's how it was going to go. But, you know, I felt like, you know, it went great with grandma. It might go great with dad. Soon as we get into the therapy session, I already knew his alter ego showed up. His agent showed up. Well, you know, me and my family, we're not violent. As soon as he get up there, me and my family, you know, we're not violent, and I have no intentions of hurting Nina. Just all lies. Just all lies. Because any other day, you talk about how you and your family be whooping people ass. That's where the fighter side of me come from. It come from my daddy's side. Because my mama's side do not fight. It come from my daddy's side. My daddy taught me how to jab at 4 years old. Best thing he ever taught me. Okay? Best thing he ever taught me. That shit, that jab done fucked up grown men. Thank you, Daddy. I appreciate you. But, basically, he's already in defense mode. So, I knew this shit wasn't really gonna get nowhere. Now, where it did go was, when I was 18, I remember my father told me he was responsible for me being here, not my mother, not God. He was, because he could have left me on a hotel sheet. Also, like I told y'all in the Sunday in Mimosa, my mother did not find out my father was married until I was 8 years old, because he did not tell her. Like, she was in a relationship with this man for all these years and did not know. And that he was married. She said she did figure he was still dipping, because, you know, they were living together. But she thought that was her man, though. Sweetheart. Naive. That's where I get it from. My mama. Good heart. So, basically what, to speed all this up, y'all, my father is trying to cover his ass and make it seem like my mother tricked him into having sex and she got pregnant on purpose. That is nowhere near my mother's character. I know my mama like the back of my hand. Just like I know my daddy like the back of my hand. That's nowhere near my mama character. It's in his, though, to lie like that. So, basically, I'm trying to get to the bottom of what is your version of how I got here? Because you done gave me about 20 different versions since I started asking. My mother's story has stayed the same. So I'm trying to figure out exactly what does this mean for me and you and where are we going? Because clearly, whatever happened, I didn't really expect for us to harp on the past that much. And we ended up harping on the past too much because he was already in defense mode. Because he figured I made him out to be a bad guy. But we really ain't talking about my daddy that much in therapy because we so busy talking about other shit. So, guilty conscious. So, basically, it led to a story of him telling me and my therapist that my mama was just a fucking, he ain't want me. I was bawling tears so fucking hard, y'all. My therapist started crying. I had to leave out of the session and come back. I came back still bawling tears. Because I'm like, no, I'm not going to run. I said I wanted this therapy session. I'm going to listen to this shit. Whether I like what he got to say or not, I'm going to listen to this shit. And I'm going to heal from this shit. Because I'm going to be somebody's amazing wife one day. And my daddy issues is not going to stop me from that shit. So I came back into the session and he finished talking his little bullshit. But, I mean, it was quite obvious I was broken. I was shattered. Game over. And he did call me and he left a voicemail. My therapist was asking me, was I okay before we left out the session? Because she kind of wanted to stop the session. Because she actually did tell him to stop talking at one point. She was like, just stop talking. She was like, your daughter can't take anymore. Just stop talking, please. And she tried to kind of fix it. And she was like, y'all, we need to do another session. I'm thinking we coming back for another session. But that ended up not happening. Because my dad, he's just an asshole. And he called to check on me after the session. But it kind of was... This is how his voicemail went. He said, I was just calling to make sure you was alright. Alright. And hung up. No real emotion, but he would give his other daughter all the emotion. So I just realized I don't need my father in my life right now. Maybe one day we could work it out where he can be, but for right now, for my healing and for me to define who I am without his input or without him basically tarnishing the way I view myself, I don't need my father in my life right now. I love him to pieces. So yeah, therapy with my father didn't go well. Now, where the problem comes in is, one, it brought out a lot of triggers, like I said in the notes. It definitely did, because I was bawling. My therapist never seen me cry that hard. I'd be holding in tears, and that's something else my therapist did not know about me. I hold shit in. Like, I can make it seem like I'm fine. I could have just tried to commit suicide and walk out the house like everything's fine. With sunglasses on, everything. Hey, how you doing today? Just tried to kill myself. So I can cover shit up really good because I've been doing it since I was 4. And that's all I know is just cover it up and keep going. You know, suck it up, keep going. That's what I know. So me and her never really had a conversation about how that shit really made me feel. Because she asked me, she was like, well, Nina, I know last session was kind of tough. How are you feeling? I was like, I'm alright. I said, that's just my daddy. That's who he is. I'm alright. We can talk about something else now. That's exactly what I told her, and that's exactly what we did. She, as a professional, you would think that she was like, no, you're not all right when we talk about this anyway. And then I probably would have broke down again, and then she would have realized, no, Nina's not okay. But she took my word for it, because people look at me like, oh, you're so blunt and you're so honest. Like, just, you know, like, if you say you're okay, you're okay. But nah, when it comes to emotions, it's a little different. Okay, it's a little different. Now, sometimes feeling how you may feel towards a certain situation is overlooked, and that's what I was just talking about, how she was like, are you okay? And I said, yeah, but I wasn't really okay. And she just felt like everybody's like, oh, you're so strong and you're so blunt and you're so honest. Like, people feel like I don't crumble, or like if I say I'm okay, I'm really okay. No. Okay, pay attention. So also, feeling like they don't listen. Differences of upbringing and experiences can cause barriers, and sometimes they may stay on a topic longer than you want to. So we're going to finish the mama story. Let's see. Feeling like they don't listen. Fucking, I'm going to just say it. Sometimes with black women, we have an issue with listening. Okay, because we just want to get our point across, and we just feel like our point is right all the time. We got to stop that shit. We got to work on that shit, sis. We got to work on that shit, sis. That shit is not healthy. But, I'm trying to think of an example when I felt like she didn't listen. Oh, like when me and my sis had an issue, and I was trying to vent to her about, my named twin sis, not my real sister, but my named twin sis. And we had an issue, and I was trying to vent to her about it, and she basically was like taking her side and like, well, you don't really have the right to, like, she wasn't hearing me. She wasn't really listening to why I felt some type of way towards her, and she felt like it was some petty shit, and it wasn't some petty shit, because I'm like, no, I gave her plenty of time to tell me, Nina, I have an issue with something, or Nina, I don't like something, and I kept giving her chances to say that, and it was showing in her energy, her actions, her face, and her tone, but she wasn't saying it. And me and her, we just didn't agree to that, and she just felt like I was wrong. I think I just gave y'all another note with that story. Yeah, sometimes they can make you feel like everything is your fault. That also has to do with that as well. So, differences of upbringing and experiences can cause barriers. This is part 2 to the story of when my mother came. So, my mother comes. And one, like I told y'all, when I be stumbling over words, or I can't say a word correctly, or, you know, stuff like that, you know, little speech issues I be having, I told y'all I get that from my mom. And my mom has low self-esteem behind that. And I just don't, I'm like, look, if I say something wrong, or if I spell something wrong, or whatever, I know I'm intelligent. I'm not about to question my intelligence. Fuck that. I know me smart. So I don't get hung up on that, but sometimes my mom does. And when we went to therapy, my therapist kept using all these big words. I could tell my mom was kind of getting like lost with what my therapist was really trying to say. And my therapist felt some type of way. I feel like this is another note I'm giving y'all. There's a couple of notes I'm giving y'all. Also, the notes I'm giving y'all with this story is they will not always take your side, and sometimes will give the wrong advice. And there's one more. Sometimes they talk to you like they know your whole life story. So, the issue was, I had told her in a previous session, I was like, you know, I personally don't feel like I have to do anything for my mother right now, because my mother has taken me through so much shit, and she has allowed my sister, my blood sister, to do so much shit, and I just feel like I don't have to financially help her, or I just don't have to, you know, just do anything for her, period. And she was like, well, I don't feel like that's right. And I'm like, well, I do. Okay. Well, I do. So, because she was raised old school, and Nina feel how Nina feel. Like, I was raised old school too, technically. But how I feel is how I feel, and this is my life to live and no one else's. So if I feel like you're showing favoritism to my sister and all my sister does is fuck you over and take your money and this, that, and the third, and I'm sitting here breaking my back to give you money and to have your back to make sure, because the main thing was to make sure her car kept running. And I'm always doing something to help my mama with her car to this day. Do you hear me? To this day. That's something I'm trying to work on, okay? Always doing something, literally, like to this day, y'all. Like last week, okay? Like, but I'm always doing something to help her, and I feel like it always messes me up in the end. But I feel like that's my mama. Like I said, she paid that one big fine for me when I got arrested and I was in court, and I always felt like I owed her. So I had like this guilty conscience that, and she wasn't putting it over me. I put that over myself because I feel like, well, damn, she really had my back and she came to every court date. This is my way of telling her thank you. This is my way of telling her thank you. But I was fucking myself up by self-sacrificing. And I'm sitting here watching my sister fake 2 pregnancies, and she got you on the bus going to fake doctor appointments and saying the doctor appointment got canceled when y'all get to the hospital. We ain't never seen no fucking ultrasound. We having baby showers and shit. People sending $200 gifts and Jordan outfits and shit, and Jordan shoes and shit, and cribs that turn into day beds and twin beds, and that shit turned into 3 different things. That shit a transformer, and sending all this nice shit, stressing you out, and she made you look stupid. And I was out there defending myself against the police, got arrested at 18, but I was about to start college, and I had a job. I was getting a job, and I was in college and working, going through court. And all you see me do is bust my ass and try to help you. And all my sister does is just lay up, no license, no drive, no ambition, and do nothing. And that shit made me feel some type of way. I don't know why they shooting off fireworks for, okay? Memorial Day, I forgot. I told you I don't celebrate holidays. Shit, I forgot this shit. I forgot. Okay, but that shit really made me feel some type of way. And I was like, I feel like I don't have to do shit for my mama. And she's like, I don't feel that's right. Okay, well, that's how you was raised and that's how you feel, but that's your situation. But my situation is very much different because you don't have a sister like I have a sister. I don't think anybody has a sister like I have a sister. It might be a few people, shit. But that was basically the clashing of me and that's where it started with me and my therapist. And my mama was probably in there for 5 minutes, and she just jumped out the bandwagon, not the bandwagon, but just jump off the wagon though, talking about something, well, I personally feel like Nina should help you and Nina should do that. I'm like, what the fuck this got to do with my mama sitting down here right now? Because you holding that shit in and you trying to let her know you on her side. You trying to make her feel more comfortable. I don't give a fuck about, no offense, the fact that both of y'all are mothers and that's how y'all feel. I don't give a fuck. That's how y'all feel. I treat people how the fuck they treat me. You treat me like a fucking queen, I'm gonna treat you like you a fucking god. Okay? You treat me like I'm shit, I'm gonna show you what shit really is. So I was reciprocating, and I really wasn't even reciprocating because there's a lot of fucked up shit I could have done and said and shit that I haven't. Because that's my mama and I love her. But I'm not going to sit here and continue to be a financial punching bag either, though. And you know I'm struggling as is. Fuck that. Fuck that. I don't care how y'all feel about that, okay? Yeah, that's my mama, but it's plenty of people. I just told y'all, my homeboy mama set him up on Christmas Eve with an 8-ball. And for people who don't know what an 8-ball is, it's crack. And put it in his room and called the police on him. It doesn't have to do with the title. It's how the person treats you. And that's everywhere across the board, especially in romantic relationships. But it's how the person treats you, though. And because she felt like that's my mama and that's what I should do, I snapped. And when I say she has a beautiful office, I had to walk out the office. I slammed the door open, but I had to walk out the office because I saw 3-4 different vases I was about to pick up. And that was going to be all she motherfucking wrote. Okay? So I snapped. And yeah, me and my mama never went back to therapy. So our relationship has been a struggle, but we're getting there. Though. We are getting much better now. Much better now when I catch y'all up on a few other things that have happened. But yes, so that was the story about when my mom came, and the differences of upbringing can sometimes cause barriers, and sometimes they may stay on the topic too long. Like the one topic that she stayed on too long, and I'm like, yo, I've done a significant amount of healing with that. I know I still need to heal from this, but it's other things I need to talk about and I still haven't talked about yet. like, she wanted to stay on me being molested for a very, 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 very majority of our sessions. And I was with her for a year and some change. And so for a majority of our sessions, like, she just wanted to stay talking about me being molested because that's something that me and her have in common. But I have a lot of other traumas that I went through as well, other than just sexual trauma, that I need to talk about. And that's why I got diagnosed with PTSD for multiple things, not just sexual trauma. So that was another thing that caused the issue with me and my therapist as well, because she wanted to stay stuck on certain topics too long because she felt like she knew what was best. Let's see. Well, let's talk about that then. I just said it. They don't like to be told they're wrong. She didn't want me to tell her that she was wrong about my name twin. She didn't want me to tell her she was wrong about how I felt about my mother, because she felt like she the one with the multiple degrees on the wall, so she knows what's best. But that's one of the bad things about therapy, well, therapists and doctors, period, because they have these degrees and they have all this textbook knowledge. They feel like they actually know the shit, but it's a different thing from having the knowledge and actually going out there and getting wisdom from actually having the experience. It's a difference. And you can't address every person as what they taught you in college or what is in that fucking textbook. It's different situations for different people. It's different formulas that make all of us up. Different recipes that make all of us up. You can't address them all the same. So that was something else as well, y'all. Sometimes what they are going through can affect your session. I remember, because usually I would get my session like around like 11, I think. It'd be like around 11, 12. So like, you know, end of the morning, beginning of, you know, afternoon. So she had enough time to rest and whatever the night before. But I remember one time I had to schedule that jank and it was like 8 in the morning. Oh, baby, she come up in that bitch with an attitude. And let me tell you, she came up in that bitch with an attitude. And like everything was an attitude. Nina. Nina. And I'm like, okay, Nina, shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing else for the rest of the session. Just let her talk. And that's also when me and her was having a disagreement about my name twin, about how I was like, I felt like she just was holding shit in and she could have been honest. And she was like, that's not what it was, Nina. It's you. And da 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 da. I'm like, well, I gave her plenty of chances to be able to. And she just, you know, and she's like, no, it's you and how you're looking at it. And da da da. And she was yelling and shit. I'm like, Nina, just shut the fuck up. Don't say nothing else. Okay, don't say nothing else. Just let that lady be. Okay, so sometimes what they're going through personally can affect them. And the advice they're giving you, and also it can affect their perspective, their perception as well. So, yeah. I think we only have 2 more to talk about. Yes. So, which one do I want to talk about first? Okay, sometimes they can get too emotionally attached and it causes problems. My family say that one for last, because that's actually how me and her are no longer together. Okay, but okay, now with this one, with this one, this some real shit. Okay, do not judge me, damn it. This some real shit though. They have the power to give you a 5150. Now I know everyone's not gonna know what a 5150 is. She almost gave me one though. And if she would have, I probably would have wanted to fight her when I got out. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I probably would have wanted to fight. I'm not going to lie. Now, remember last year. And see, this is why we talking about when I say y'all, I be going through shit right along with y'all. We did our first challenge and we did the 7 days of detox. The mind, body, soul, right? Mama was going to fuck through it. And some of y'all hit me up and y'all was like, is it okay for me to smoke? And I was like, y'all go ahead and do what you need to do. And, yeah, so I basically had a meltdown and I had a anxiety attack and a panic attack on the phone with her. And it also came from me not fully processing everything that happened with my father before. And she, thank God, like, I was able to calm myself down. But she told me the next time we talked, she said, I almost gave you a 5150. Right, so I looked up on Google what a 5150 is, just so everybody knows the correct definition, exactly what it is. A 5150 is the number of the section of the Welfare and Institutions Code which allows a person with a mental health challenge to be involuntarily detained for a 72-hour psychiatric hospitalization. A person on a 5150 can be held in the psychiatric hospital against their will for up to 72 hours. Also, what reasons can a patient be held with a 5150? The intent of a 5150, according to California law and other states that have similar laws, is to involuntarily hold individuals due to mental illnesses who may pose a danger to themselves, others, or are gravely disabled and require inpatient psychiatric care. And how long does a 5150 stay on your record? If you have a 5150 record, then you are permanently banned from possessing firearms or ammunition. There is no overturning a 5150, nor clearing or erasing it. Records are forever. So please understand the weight that a 5150 can carry on a person's life, okay? So, she tried to give me the 5150 because I had the anxiety attack. And I told y'all, my anxiety attacks can scare the fuck out of people. And if you're not used to it, you're not really going to know what to do. And there's somebody who was trained for this shit, and it scared the fuck out of her. And she was on the phone, and she couldn't do anything to stop it. So it scared the fuck out of her. Which leads me to my last point. They can sometimes get too emotionally attached. It causes problems. And that is exactly why me and my therapist had to part ways, because, and I appreciate her so much, because that lady really helped me. She really did a lot of great for me. Please don't get me wrong. She really helped me with my growth, y'all. And understanding my mental health, understanding other people, and how not to take stuff so personal, which is also a big problem that we have in this world today. And just being able to give me certain tools to be more successful going forward in life. So I definitely appreciate her. But she got emotionally attached to me, like I said, because I'm a young black woman who has been through so much shit. And she's basically the only person who knows everything I've been through. Because I really wrote everything I've been through up there that I need help with, that still bounces around in my head and fucks with me. So she's the only person who knows everything I've been through. So she naturally just had a caring heart for me, and I appreciate her for that. But her personal opinions started getting in the way. Her personal viewpoints started getting in the way. Her personal feelings started getting in the way. And she started looking at me more like her daughter instead of, this is my client, this is my patient. So the professionalism started getting blurred, and she would show up late to appointments. Like, my appointment was supposed to start at 12. She'd be showing up at 12:35, 12:40, 12:45. Like, damn, my appointment's only 50 minutes. 12:50, you gotta go to your next person. And she kind of made me feel like, because, oh, I'm so strong, or because I have such a great understanding of what my issues are, what I need to work with, what I need to be doing, where I'm headed in life, that she felt like I was better off than a lot of her other patients and clients. But she didn't understand the turmoil that was going on in my life at that point in time, because I wasn't sharing everything with her, and I should have. So she felt like, oh, well, Nina can wait because this person needs me more. And she would say that sometimes, like, somebody else needed me more. And, like, that made me feel very small and very unimportant. And that's why I'm coming to you anyway, because I need help too. And it got to a point where I clearly needed help, because, like, damn, my uncle slammed me and damn near killed me, you know? So, yes, babies, this is the video about the good, the bad, and the ugly of therapy. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and let me know how you feel about it down in the comments. Love you, babies. Mwah.